You know, there's a war being fought right now. It's happening every single day. But it's not on some distant battlefield, it's inside of us. It is a silent, completely invisible conflict. A battle waged inside the most complex and incredible machine in the known universe, the human mind.
Just let that sink in for a second. For millions and millions of people, that's not some dramatic line from a movie, it's a daily reality. It's a terrifying whisper from the one part of you that is supposed to be your greatest ally. So today, we're going to explore what that actually means.
So, what happens when your own personal command center goes rogue? When the very thing that builds your reality, that makes you, starts to betray you? That is the central question we're going to tackle in this explainer. And let's get one thing straight right from the start. This journey isn't about just having a bad day or feeling sad. We're going way deeper than that. We are talking about the circuitry. We're talking about biological glitches, literal hardware failures in the system. All right, so our first stop is the mind's energy system. You can think of it like a power grid. This is where the battle for your mood, for your motivation, is either won or lost. It's where that internal power can flicker, surge uncontrollably, or just shut down completely. So many people think depression is just intense sadness, but it's not. See, sadness usually has a reason, a story behind it. Depression? That's emptiness. It's a physical malfunction, like a chemical drought in your brain. It's when your mind simply can't produce enough of the stuff, like serotonin and dopamine, that makes life feel like it's even worth living.
And what does that actually feel like? Well, imagine sleeping for 10 hours and waking up even more exhausted. Imagine the hobbies, the things you used to love, feeling completely pointless. Food literally tastes like ash. It's not a feeling, it's a physical state, a heavy, profound numbness that just settles over everything.
And this is so important to understand. Telling someone with depression to just cheer up is like telling someone in a citywide blackout to just flip on a light switch. The power grid itself has failed. The problem isn't the switch, it's the source.
But what happens when that same power grid doesn't just fail, but surges completely out of control? Well, that's bipolar disorder. It's this violent pendulum that swings from one extreme to the other. On one side, you have the total system crash of depression, where just getting out of bed feels impossible. And on the other, you have the power surge of mania, where you feel superhuman, buzzing with a million ideas, like you can do anything, right before the whole system inevitably comes crashing down again.
Okay, now let's shift gears, removing from the mind's power grid to its security system. Every single one of us has an internal alarm that's designed to spot threats and keep us safe. But for some people, that alarm is broken. It's basically stuck in the on position.
With generalized anxiety disorder, that internal alarm system is just miscalibrated. It starts screaming danger at perfectly normal, everyday things, like sending an email or making a phone call. Your body's just constantly braced for an impact that never actually comes.
And let me put it this way. Your heart starts racing, your muscles clench up, your stomach churns, your body is in full-on survival mode. It is physically preparing for a fight for its life, for a tiger attack, while you're just sitting in traffic. And it is absolutely, utterly exhausting. And sometimes that little misfire becomes a full-blown explosion. See, with panic disorder, the alarm doesn't just warn you about a threat. The alarm becomes the threat. The brain's fear center triggers a tidal wave of physical symptoms so intense that it convinces you you're having a heart attack, that you're suffocating. The fear is no longer about something out there in the world. It's a deep, primal terror of your own body betraying you.
So when your own body can feel like the enemy, it leads to a totally different kind of battle. This one isn't just about mood or fear, but it's for fundamental control, a struggle for the simple ability to direct your own thoughts and actions when the command center itself is compromised.
Now, this is a really important way to think about ADHD. It is not a failure of focus. In fact, people with ADHD can often hyper-focus with incredible intensity. The real issue is regulation. The part of your brain that's like the CEO, the prefrontal cortex, it struggles to direct that focus. It creates this huge chasm between what you know you need to do and what you can actually get your body to start doing. This war for control takes a different, almost torturous form in OCD. It's a truly vicious cycle. It all starts with a terrifying, intrusive thought. That's the obsession. That thought triggers this immense, overwhelming anxiety. The only way to quiet that anxiety is to perform a very specific ritual, the compulsion. And for a moment, you get relief. But all that does is strengthen the loop, making absolutely sure that the obsession will come back even stronger than before.
All right, we're now moving into the deepest and maybe the most challenging territory of all. In this part of the battlefield, the fight isn't just for control or for emotional stability. It's a fight for the very fabric of reality and identity itself.
You see, PTSD isn't really a memory disorder. It's a time disorder. The brain's filing system basically breaks down, and it becomes unable to store a traumatic event in the past folder. So, the memory isn't something you simply recall, it's something you are forced to relive, with all the same terror, all the same physical responses, as if it were happening right now, all over again.
And what happens is this total system overload. The entire nervous system gets stuck on high alert. It's hypersensitive. A simple everyday thing, a car backfiring, a certain smell, can trigger everything, plunging the person right back into the single worst moment of their life.
Now we come to what is perhaps the most misunderstood condition of them all, schizophrenia. This is a fundamental fracture in the brain's ability to process what's real. On one hand, it can add things that aren't there, like hearing voices or seeing things. But on the other hand, it can also take away things that should be there, like the ability to feel emotion, or even the motivation to do the most basic tasks.
I think this quote just perfectly captures the essence of borderline personality disorder. It's a disorder of emotional regulation, sure, but it's magnified to an unbelievable extreme. There's no buffer. A minor criticism can feel like a profound betrayal. A small disappointment can feel like the absolute end of the world. It's been described as living with third-degree emotional burns, where every single touch is just agony.
So, after this whole journey, after walking through this unseen battlefield of the mind, where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with a map, a guide not just to the malfunction, but hopefully to compassion.
And if you take just one single thing away from this, please let it be this. Every single condition we've talked about, from depression to schizophrenia, is rooted in biology. These are not failures of character. They are not signs of weakness or laziness. They are simply evidence of an incredibly complex machine that is malfunctioning.
And that's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? Knowledge isn't just about being smart. It's about empathy. Because when you understand the mechanics behind the struggle, all that judgment, it just gets replaced with compassion. You stop blaming the person and you start seeing the illness. And that reframes everything. These people aren't broken. They are fighters. They are warriors, navigating an internal war with a kind of courage that most of us can't even imagine. So the real question, the one for all of us, becomes, now that we've seen the battle, how will we choose to treat the warrior?